Ma'am, what's your full name?
Margaret Lee Barnes.
Leave the E out of the barn.
Yeah, leave the E out of the barn.
B-A-R-N-S.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is July 20th, 1988. My name is Joe Todd, and this is an interview with Margaret Lee Barnes in Tonopah, Oklahoma. Ma'am, where were you born?
Hiawatha, Kansas.
I'm sorry?
Hiawatha, Kansas.
Hiawatha, Kansas. Yes. When's your birthday?
15th of July.
What year?
Hmm?
What year were you born?
1891.
Yeah, 1891.
1891.
Stop and think.
Who was your father?
Newton Hedges.
Hedges.
Mm-hmm.
And your mother?
Katurah Hedges, of course. But Trimmer was her
Trimmer.
maiden name, yes.
And what was her first name?
Katurah. Katurah.
Okay. And where were your parents born?
In Ohio somewhere.
Ohio. Okay. Do you know if either one of your grandfathers were in the Civil War?
Mm-hmm. My husband's
Not your grandfather now, Mother.
huh?
Not your grandfather.
No, he wasn't any related to me. It was the horse dad. That was my
He's
husband.
talking about grandpa and grandma.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what about your grandparents?
Now, I
Your
don't
parents
know,
or grandparents?
I don't think that he was.
We never did
No.
have very much history back.
Now, what was your father-in-law's name?
Barnes.
What was his first name?
Henry.
Henry. You ever hear any stories about him in the Civil War, what he did?
No, well maybe I did, but I don't remember any of
Okay.
it. Just a minute.
Yeah.
Please.
What type of work did your father do?
Well, he was a farmer first. And then he worked in the mines in Galena, Kansas.
Is that the lead and zinc mines? What did he do in the mines? What type of work?
He owned some of them and worked in.
Now, how far from Galena is Hiawatha?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how far it is. It's about 8 miles from Joplin. That's all I know.
As a small girl, what chores did you do in the farm?
I didn't live on the farm
You didn't?
when I was small. I was 12 years old when I moved to farm.
Then where did you start to school?
In Galena.
In Galena.
Mm-hmm.
Was it just the Galena Public Schools?
Mm-hmm.
And how many years did you attend?
Until I was 10 years old. And then we moved to, no, it was Indian Territory when we moved there. And then when it was, yeah, whenever it was made a state.
1907.
Yeah, we lived in up at Mounds then.
Mounds.
Mm-hmm.
Why did the family move from Hiawatha down to Mounds?
Oh, my dad thought he wanted to farm down in Oklahoma.
What was it you did, Mother? Didn't you trade the mines
that was, when we lived down there by Meggs. He traded the farm down here at, by Stillwater for the one down there.
He traded the
We
one.
had a ranch down there.
You got it backwards. He traded the ranch for the farm down Stillwater.
Well, yes, they traded,
Mhm.
and, we had a farm, a ranch down there, just right between Mounds and Beggs.
Do you remember the trip from Kansas to Indian Territory?
In Kansas.
When you moved to Mounds?
Oh, yeah. Yes,
Train,
you
didn't
know,
you?
we come on the train then.
Anything happened on that trip? Just any incidents?
No, if it did, I don't remember. No, I can't remember any. We just went down on the train to Mounds. That's where we lived, in Mounds.
How big was Mounds at that time?
Not very big, and not very big yet. It's just about like it was.
Did you live in the town or did you live on the farm?
We lived in Mounds
You
for a
did.
year, and then we moved out on the ranch. At a Indian ranch down there, 800 acres.
Now, when you say Indian Ranch, what do you mean?
I mean, the Indians belonged there,
So, what, you just rented the land then? Or?
leased it from
Leased
the Indians.
Okay. What'd you raise there?
Oh, we raised corn and we didn't raise wheat there. And stock, cows and different stock.
Now, what chores did you do there?
Oh, I couldn't help to start to tell you. Everything that cows and hogs had to be taken care of. And then when we was farming, I did that too. I drove the horses all day long.
She took the place of a man.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we did. We didn't have any boys in our family. And we just had 3 girls, and one girl didn't know how to do any farming. So that's what we did.
Her twin sister didn't like it.
Yes, I had a twin sister, and she didn't like to farm.
So,
So I had to.
when you would drive from the horses, were you plowing or what were you doing?
Plowed and harrowed and well, about everything you do with a horse and tools.
You have a sulky plow or a walking plow?
Well, we had both, I think. I'm not sure of that. But I didn't, that's one thing I didn't do very much of, was plow.
Mm-hmm.
I walked behind 4 horses and harrowed.
Is that good land over there by Mounds?
I think it was, yes.
What kind of soil is it? Is it sandy soil or what type of soil is that?
I don't remember.
What was your favorite chore on
Oh, I
the ranch?
didn't have any.
Then let me ask, what was your least favorite chore?
Milking cows, I think. I think that was the least. We had plenty of that too.
What type of house did you live in?
Oh, it was a 6-room, 3 rooms up and 3 down.
Or just frame?
Hmm?
Just frame house?
Just frame house.
Just, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had a nice little home there.
Did you have a drilled well or a dug well at that place?
We didn't have anything but a cistern,
It's
and then ponds in the fields. How we made ponds, that was the least thing I liked to do.
How do you make a pond?
We just had to plow and then have just a common old scraper, like they used to have, and clean it out till we had big enough for a pond.
And how big would that be?
Well, it's pretty good size.
Pretty good size?
Yes, it was. We made one, I think, in every, we had 5 160s. And I think we made a pond in every one of them, 2 or 3 in just a few of them, 2 or 3 of them. But, as far as I know, I don't know, only just that. But I sure didn't like that job, making ponds.
I was going to ask, how did you keep the milk, cream, and butter cool on the ranch?
Well, let me see, we had I can't say it. Well, we had a cellar.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we had. That's where we kept it.
You kept it in the cellar.
Mm-hmm.
And did you have a drainage system for water to go in the cistern? How did you fill the cistern with water?
We had things up on the house and it drained into this cistern.
How did you keep stuff on the house from washing into the cistern? Did you have a system that strained all the...
Yeah, it was a big cistern.
It was.
Mm-hmm.
I interfere with you.
No, go ahead, no.
Had charcoal filters, kind of like a box. And that charcoal in the water come off the house and went into that, then drained into the cistern.
Yes, it was good water.
Did you ever, how often did you have to change the charcoal in that filter?
I don't know that. Papa did that. That's all I know about it.
Tell me about, do you have a fireplace in the house?
No, we don't.
With a cook stove?
Cook stove. Mm-hmm. And heaters.
And heaters.
Here. Mm-hmm.
What kind of fuel did you use?
Wood.
Wood?
Wood and coal.
Did you chop wood?
Yes, I chop wood.
Tell me about that.
Tell you about
Yeah.
it. It's darn hard work. Oh, I chopped a lot of wood.
What'd you use?
Well, the railroad run right through the place, just a half a mile from the house. And when they cleaned up their tracks, they'd leave the ties, the old ties, and they'd give them to us, and they'd cut them up for wood. And if we had to get it somewhere, there wasn't a sign of anything else around there, any trees or anything. And he had to go a long ways west of town, or west of where we lived, to get wood when we didn't have the ties.
How'd you cut the ties?
He sawed them up and split them.
Did you help him?
Mm-hmm. Lots of them.
How do you split a tie?
Well, you have them, the things that you split with,
Wedges.
The wedges?
Well, yeah. And that's what you do. You have that in your big old maul.
Your axe.
Yes, and my axe. I know all about farming.
Did you use a broad axe to split those ties, or?
Broad axe, I don't know what to do.
They had
Just a
both
plain
kinds,
old-
single
plain
bit and
old
double
axe.
bit
Okay.
axe.
To split wood with. Mm-hmm.
Now, you use this wood in the cook stove?
Mm-hmm. And the heater, and wood or coal.
Where'd you get the coal?
Down Beggs, I think. But we would have had to go on Beggs or Mounds one for it.
How often did you buy coal?
I don't think we bought it very often. The railroad had kind of furnished us with wood. They'd throw the ties.
I was going to ask, that was still the old steam engines, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
oh yeah, it's Frisco.
Frisco.
Mm-hmm.
Ever have any fires started from that steam engine?
Did we? That's what, in the summertime, that's all we got done, was fight fires.
How'd you fight the fires? What'd you do?
Well, whenever we saw some smoke coming up after the car or the train went by, we knew there was a fire to be put out in one of the fields somewhere. And we had 5 fields to watch.
So how'd you put the fires out?
With an old gunny sack and an old broom and something like that that you could beat it out with.
The whole family go out there?
Well, part of the time the whole family had to go.
How many sisters did you have?
I had 2 sisters.
2 sisters. So just your parents and 3 sisters. Out fighting fires.
Yes. And I'll tell you, we had some big ones. We had one 660 acres of hay. It was just hay that was made and baled, and somebody took the notion that we didn't need it, I guess, and they set at the fire and burnt the whole thing. The whole 60 acres of baled hay.
You lose all of it?
All
How big were your bales?
Well, they was big enough that I could lift them. But I don't know how much they weigh. And then have different, when that was hay baling time was over. The train, we had whatever you call it, down the track, just a half a mile from the house. There was another line, switch, I guess that's what you call it.
A
And
spur type?
they would put a car out and we would load them with the baled hay. And then they'd take them, of course. Oh boy, that was something to live in.
Where would you take the hay after it was loaded
I
in the car?
don't know, they shipped it somewhere. The railroad or the train took it, you know.
Well, that's pretty handy then.
Yes, it was heavy and hard work.
Especially the legs. Especially the hard work.
Yes.
How many cuttings did you get on your hay field a year?
I think just one. I don't know, maybe more than that, I don't.
What type of baler did you have? How did it operate?
Gosh, I couldn't tell. With a horse?
If you never seen one of them, you've got something to see.
Yes, you have, 'cause it's a horse and going around and around and around the baling it.
I walked 1,000 miles around in a circle on that little one-horse balers.
Yep.
Now, how do you have the horse walking around the baler?
Well, it's not walking around the baler, it's walking somewhere
It's out at the end on
near the sides.
Okay.
on the plunger.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have to bring the hay to the baler, or does it pick it up?
They had to haul the hay in and pile it into the baler, and then had that bale and take it to the train.
Did you use twine or wire when you
Wire.
baled? Wire.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was going to ask, why did your father leave the mines?
Hmm?
Why did your father leave the mines?
Well, you got just a little bit dangerous. They were having too many
Cave-ins?
caves in, that's what I'm trying to say, yeah. And it got just a little bit, and he just gave it up.
What were his exact duties in the mines? What did he do?
He worked down in.
What did he do? Did he
I
mine the ore?
couldn't tell you what they done, but he used a pick and a shovel, and I don't know what all. But anyway, he did real good
I think
in the mines.
that problem that they've been having over there in the last year
Yeah.
or two
out there in Tar Creek.
Yeah.
Yep. Did he ever have any close calls in the mines?
Well, I don't know. I think he did. I heard him talk about it, but I didn't ever hear anything much about it. I wasn't only about 6, 7 years old.
On the farm, what would you do for recreation?
We drove horses. We didn't kill any time, I'll tell you. When the horses had to be taken care of and we had to drive them, and we stayed right there from sun up till sundown. Four horses.
What type of horses did you have?
Well, just plain farm horses, but they were good ones.
Oh, they weren't Morgans or...
Oh, no.
No.
Just plain farm horses.
Which horse was your favorite?
I guess they had to be all of them.
What were their names?
Oh, golly, I don't know. Mike is the only one I can remember.
Now, tell me about laundry.
But what?
Laundry. Doing laundry on the farm.
Clothes washing.
Oh, gee whiz. Well, we had a board and a tub.
Still.
Yeah.
Now. Yeah.
You were talking about laundry
Mm-hmm.
and a rub board.
Mm-hmm.
Would you tell me exactly how you did the laundry, from drawing the water to heating the water to whatever you do? How'd you do it?
Well, we had a big old barrel or something to heat the water in. That was the first thing. Then we carried it to the tub and rubbed it, every bit of it, on the board. And then we had to take it in the house on the boarding. We had a big boiler that we cooked. Put the clothes in to boil them. You had to put them in to boil them, make them clean. And we put them in there, boiled them, took them out, and rubbed them again. And then carried more water and rinsed them. And then I guess that's the only time, the last 2 times. That's, we had to rinse them and then hang them up.
What type of soap did you use?
What kind of soap?
Yes, ma'am.
Just plain old laundry soap.
Did you make your own?
Part of the time we did, and part of the time we bought it.
How do you make soap?
Out of grease.
How do you do it?
Lard and lye.
Yes, lard and lye. But it was kind of fun to make it. Put it down there and put it in a big old thing till it made cakes. Then we'd cut it and that was it.
How long did it take to make soap?
Well, I guess the biggest part of the day.
And what part of the hog did you use to make soap?
Grease.
Grease?
Lard.
Did you render lard to make soap? Or?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you buy your lye or did you make your lye?
We bought it.
You bought it.
Mm-hmm.
You never made it.
My grandmother used to, but we didn't.
Used to make it out of ashes.
Yeah, the ash hopper.
Grandma used to make lye.
But you can still buy it in cans of lye, just like they used to get when I was 2, 3 years old.
Well, after laundry, you have to do ironing.
Oh boy, did we. That was the worst thing to do.
Tell me about that.
Oh my Lord, we just had to build a fire in the cook stove, put the irons on.
How many?
Well, we had 5. And of course all of us had to take part in the ironing. And, well, we had great big old baskets. We had to sprinkle clothes and let them stand overnight, and then the next day we had to iron them. Took all day. And that was about the size of it. And then patching.
Yep. How much of a dress or a shirt could you iron before you had to change irons?
Well, just different, just depended how hot they had to be.
Could you scorch a shirt easy with those irons?
Oh yes, you could scorch anything with them.
Did you have the detachable handle, or was the handle made on the iron?
Well, some of them were made on the iron, and some of them had just extra, you know.
Had to keep from burning your hands?
Yes.
Had to keep from burning your hands?
Well, the handle fastened on with a handle, I guess you'd say.
So the handle was cool then?
Oh yes,
Oh, okay.
yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So I've seen.
Now on those old ones that didn't have any handles, it just on the iron, you'd get yourself burnt with them.
The ones that was attached.
Yeah, so
Oh yes.
what'd you use to protect your hand?
Great big old thick cloth.
Now, what about starch?
What?
Starch.
Yes, we had to make that out of flour.
Tell me about that.
We stirred that flour up till it was real soft, and we had to pour it in with water. I don't remember. Anyway, we had to thin it enough so we could dip the clothes in it and wind them out of there.
How would you describe your parents?
Very good. They were sure good parents. But believe me, when Papa said go, you did. You went and he never said another word.
What kind of personality did they have?
What?
Personality, were they jovial?
Oh yes, both of them. Yes, Mama used to tell us all sorts of stories what she used to do when she was little. When she went to Sunday school, and they had them big long benches then, you know, in the church. And she wanted to talk to somebody up somewhere, back somewhere. She got down on the floor and crawled to them. Oh, she was always telling us something like that.
What about you in church when you were a small girl? What'd you do?
Well, I tried to behave myself when I was in church.
You tried.
Yes, I did. I tried to get along good and to do like I ought to. Once in a while, a couple of us girls would get to talking and they had to get after us.
One thing you didn't tell him about your home place, their home place, when they were teenagers and moved to was 9 miles west and 2 miles south of Stillwater on the road
Yes,
to Coyle.
it was
Okay,
right
well,
out.
That was their home.
Yeah, well, okay, we're going to get to that later.
It was west of
Yeah,
Marina.
okay. Now, what kind of trouble did you get in as a small girl?
What kind of trouble did I get?
What kind of mischief did you get into?
I didn't have time to do that. I had to work. I just had to work, and that really is true.
How did you celebrate Christmas in the early days?
We just had to, well, it was just Christmas. We didn't do any, put up any air or trees or anything like that. We didn't do, well, there wasn't any little kids, just us kids. My sister got married and she moved to Mounds. So that's all they had of us.
What type of toys did you receive?
We didn't receive toys then.
You didn't.
No.
Did you have a doll?
Oh yes. Yeah, we did have that.
What type of doll?
Well, just plain little old dolls.
Was it the China head doll?
Some of them were, and the others had hair. And we had them and little doll buggies to put them in. So, and that's it. We never had a Christmas tree.
What about school?
Yes, we went back too. We went to school. I started school when I was 5 years old at Galena, and we went to school there till we were 10 years old. That's when we moved to Mounds.
Who was your favorite teacher in Galena?
I had a favorite one. I had some I didn't like too good. I just wouldn't remember.
You ever get in trouble in school?
No.
No.
Didn't dare
She
do
knew
that.
better too. She got a home piece of paper.
Yes, I would. No, I didn't have any trouble.
Ever have any contact with the Indians around Mounds?
No, they were just as kind and nice as they can be. They Indians and niggers went to school there at Galena.
If I'd thought about it, I'd have brought up some little Indian moccasins. Yes, we've made contact with Indians since I've been
Oh,
born.
yes.
I've got a pair of moccasins
Since we moved up.
down at the house that the Indian lady over here in the hotel made me when I was a year and a half old.
She made them out of that
Deer skin.
deer skin.
They got beads on them. Her name was Claythorn. Indian, Hoto Indian.
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember Statehood Day?
Oh, yes.
Tell me about that day.
Well, the only thing that I know is we were getting breakfast one morning and we, I don't know how, we got a paper. I guess, I don't know how we found it out. But anyway, we were getting breakfast. Then we lived on a farm out between Beggs and Mounds. And Papa said something about we didn't have a telephone or anything. But anyway, we found it out, and that been made a state. That's just all I know about it.
Was there a celebration that day?
No, not that we had. Come in, that's my boy Ralph.
How you doing?
Let me see your. I forgot what his name was.
What you told them to get that water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Joe Todd.
I know you, Joe.
How you doing, sir?
Pardon me here, and I'll go right on through.
So you didn't have a celebration on Statehood Day?
No, it was just another day to us, and a nice one. We was glad of it.
Tell me about butchering time.
Oh, that was another one. Oh, Lordy, yes, and the farmers would gather in and they, with a big old barrel or two and to scald the hog in, and they'd scald the hog and skin it, cut it up. I had to hang it up, of course, till it got cold.
What was your job at butchering time?
Well, till after they got butchered and cut up, that I didn't have any job. Then I did.
What would you do?
Had to cut meat. Cut it up for lard, cut up for lard.
How do you render lard?
Well, you put it up in a big old kettle, and you stand there and stir it all day till it's through.
How do you tell when it's through?
When the
Crackles.
crackings is brown.
How do you keep that lard from burning in the kettle?
'Cause you stand there and stir it.
Then how'd you store the lard?
Oh, we just had big jars, great big old 5 and 10 quart jars that we put it in. And cans and things like that we had, the smaller things. But we always had enough lard from one time to another.
How many hogs did you butcher at one time?
I think 2.
2.
Mhm.
You had a smokehouse?
Mm-mm.
You didn't have a smokehouse.
Mm-mm.
How'd your father cure the hams?
He didn't. I think, well, yes, he did.
And let me help you out a little on that, but most of it was sliced and almost fried till it was done. And it put in one of these big old crockery jars and covered with lard.
Yes,
So
That's the way they kept it.
that's the way we
So
kept
you
it.
fried up your hams then?
Uh-huh.
What did you keep in the cellar besides milk and cream?
Anything we had. Potatoes and apples and or whatever we had.
Did you can?
I didn't can.
You didn't.
I helped. Oh boy, yes, I helped. We did can, but down there, see, we had to go way off down south or southwest of Beggs. If we got any fruit, we couldn't get any there. We didn't have any fruit around there.
What type of jars did you use to can?
Just the same as they used.
What type of lids did they have? Did they have the old zinc lid?
I think that was yeah.
They have that white piece of glass in the top of it.
And I've got one of them down at the house.
Oh yes.
What's that used for?
Well, I don't know. Just to make it look better, I guess.
And how do you seal that jar?
Just like you did the others.
It is a rubber ring on it that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Just put it on there and twist it down.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, if they ever run out of them, need one of them, that'd be like, let them have that one I've got.
But
One of them zinc lids with the white glass inside of it.
you say you have one then.
I've got one out there.
Yeah, he's been canning peaches.
How long did you can all summer long?
When we had it, we didn't have anything down there. No fruit.
You did. What about vegetables?
Yeah, we had vegetables. Yeah.
What type of vegetables did you grow in your garden?
Oh, just a little bit of everything. Tomatoes and potatoes. Everything like that. Cucumbers, beans and peas and
Radishes and onions.
yeah, the radishes and onions and cabbage and a little bit of everything. Just anything that is a grocery.
In 1907, same year we became a state, there's also a depression in 1907.
I didn't know what that was at that time.
Okay. Oh, did you have store-bought clothes, or did your mother make your clothes? Or did you make your clothes?
No, I didn't want to know enough. Mama made them. Mama and my sister, my older sister, made some of them, and then they bought the rest of them.
What type of material did they use?
Calico.
Calico. Ever use flour sacks?
No, we never did down there, but we have since we've been up here. Not to make clothes, but we used them for a lot of things.
Could you give me a description of the town of Mounds in those years? What did the town look like?
Well, it's just a plain old country town. Wooden sidewalks. And, well, just plain old common country town.
What were the streets like when it rained?
Oh, mud. Oh, boy. We used to watch them big old Indians crawl out there and get stuck in the mud trying to get out of town.
If you got a wagon stuck in the mud, how'd you get it out?
Well, they just pushed it. A whole herd of them would get out, clear around it, and push that wagon out of there. Yeah, I remember standing out in the yard and watching them do that when they was going home.
Did you help your father work on wagons?
Work on anything there was to work on.
What work did you do in the wagons?
In the wagon? Well, you wouldn't believe it if I told you. I helped him, or we did. We helped him fence 5 160s.
With a wagon?
Wasn't no fences at all when we moved there.
Tell me about building a fence. How'd you do it?
Oh, so. Well, the first thing, Papa had to go chop the posts and sharpen them. He had to sharpen. Then he didn't dig holes for them. He just had a big old maul and he drove them. Every one of them after he'd sharpened it. Till we formed that whole 5 things.
What kind of fence did you use? What kind of wire?
Just 5 wire, 3 wire, 3 wire barbed wire.
How'd you tighten the wire?
I tried to tell you that too. He would fasten it onto the wagon, the big chain, and he would hook that chain to the wire, and he'd hitch the horses to the whatever. Huh? Yeah, on the wagon, and he would make us watch the horses to keep them from getting away or too fast, and we would lead them horses when he was stretching the wire. We did that with all of that 160s.
Did you use nails or steeples to?
Staples. Every one of them you put in there. I helped do that too. And we had good fences.
Now tell me about working on the wagons. What kind of maintenance did you have?
I didn't work on them. When they had to be greased, the wheels had to be greased, I could help do that.
How'd you do it?
I didn't do it.
How? What'd you do?
You just take them off and smear on some more grease and put it back on.
How do you take the wheel off?
We had a cap there to take it off.
I mean, do you have a special wrench or what?
Yeah. Take the cap off, put the grease on there, and then put it back on.
What type of wagon did you have? What brand?
Oh, I don't know.
Studebaker, Springfield, or?
Couldn't tell you to save my life. It's just a plain old farm wagon.
Did it have the narrow tires or wide tires?
It was plain, common wire,
Wire.
kind of like they have now.
It's all wheeled in there.
Yeah, inch and a half.
Yeah.
How'd you keep the rims tight on the wheels?
drove them into the pond and let them stand and let them soak up. That's what we did.
Seen that happen a lot of times. Then they come up with iron wheel wagon, and they have to do that.
Do you know if the Indians around there were for statehood or against statehood?
No, I never talked to any of them. Papa did. They'd come to see him and talk to him a lot of times. The ones that owned the ranch.
Yeah. Would you describe the furniture you had in that house in Mounds?
Well, just plain old beds and things. They weren't like that one.
Oh, sofas or
Just
divans?
like they had then, yes. And chairs and tables and stoves and cupboards.
All store-bought?
No, not all of them. But the biggest part of them.
The ones that weren't store-bought, what'd you get?
Yes, the most of them were. Mm-hmm.
Would your father make any of the furniture?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay. And how long did you live on the ranch there at Mounds?
Oh, let's see. We moved there. Well, when it became a state, moved out there just a while before that. And then we stayed there until when did we leave there?
Did you move to the place down West Stillwater about 1909 to 1910?
In 1909.
1909.
That's what I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how did you move from Mounds to
With
Marina?
2 wagons and a buggy.
Tell me about how'd you pack everything up and make
I
it the
don't
trip?
know, but we did, and hired somebody to drive one team, and Papa drove the other one, and my brother-in-law drove the team to the buggy. And that's how they went down there.
Were you able to pack all the furniture in the wagons?
Yes. Of course, we didn't take all of it. Papa traded part of it with that old Dutchman,
Who's that?
the guy we traded with.
What was his name?
I can't remember.
The old Dutchman, did he
He
have a
was-
store there?
No, he was he was from down there around where we had the place. Well, he had the lease before we did. That's what we traded. We traded our farm or lease, what we had of it, and the house, everything. We traded to him. He didn't have. He traded furniture, and they wanted a bit of it. Not one piece of it was fit for anybody to use. Not a thing. First thing we went into when we went in the house, we started in the door, and there was a hole this big in the carpet. Oh no, that was terrible.
How long did the trip take? From Mounds to
About
Bozeman?
2 or 3 days, I think, it took them to go down there.
Where'd you sleep at night on the trip?
Where did they sleep?
Where did you sleep?
Well, we didn't do that. We stayed and come on the train.
Oh, you came on the train?
Yeah.
Okay.
Over
okay.
to Stillwater.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You bring any furniture on the train with you, or just
No,
just the family?
just Mom and sister and me.
So came. Oh, I was going to ask, did you ever go to Tulsa when you lived
Oh
in Mounds?
yes, oh yes. Mhm.
Tell me about Tulsa.
Well, I couldn't tell you very much about it, only it was a whole lot bigger now than it was then.
What did the town look like in those days?
Well, I can't even remember. I wasn't very old then. I was only 10 years old.
Mm-hmm. And Would you tell me again why the family moved from Mounds to Marina?
Oh, yes, that's where we had to go. But that's where the lease was, where we moved.
Now, did you own that farm or did you still lease there at Marina?
We leased the farm while we lived there, out there.
At Marina.
No, you didn't.
No,
lease the farm,
no,
Marina,
no.
You owned it
But we owned the farm
at Marina.
at Marina,
But that
yes.
was the other one was a lease. So
Yes, it was a lease, that
How many acres at
in
Marina?
the lease, 800 acres.
800.
that's what was over there.
That's what
The
we
one at
had
Marina
over
was
there,
160
yeah.
acres.
Ever hear any stories about that big shootout at Ingalls?
Mm.
They had a big gunfight with some outlaws over there.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember them talking about that back when I was a kid.
I don't remember that.
When was the first time you went to Stillwater?
When we got off the train,
What did the town look like?
well, not very much of a town, to my notion. It's nicer now.
How far was the college near the depot at that time? A&M?
No, not too close, no.
World War One. What'd you do during the war? 1917, 1918.
Well, I'll tell you, I didn't have too many thoughts for that because I didn't know enough about it.
Did you do any work? You know, some women knitted and some wrapped bandages. And
No, I wasn't old enough to knit.
She was taking care of the family.
were you married at this time in 17?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was born in 11.
What?
I was born in 11.
Yes, you was born in 1911.
We lived a quarter of a mile north of Marina.
Yeah, we lived at Marina, or that quarter of a mile of Marina when he was born.
Where'd you meet your husband?
Down there.
At Marina?
Mm-hmm.
What was his name?
Hmm?
What was his name?
Barnes.
First
What was his first name?
Yes.
What was his first name?
Forrest.
Forrest. Forrest Barnes.
Mm-hmm.
And you were married in what year?
1911, yeah.
Okay. So,
We was married on the 9th of January, I think. Was that right, Harry? The 9th of January, 1911.
okay. So in 17,
I wasn't married.
no, 1917.
You was married.
That's
You
6
lived
years.
at Marina.
That's
Oh,
6 years
oh,
later.
I thought you was talking about the age.
No, no, no. In 1917, 18, during the war,
I guess it was.
did you do any knitting or wrap bandages for the soldiers?
Spent most of the time in the fields, cutting
And
fields.
that's what, absolutely right.
Tell me about
Farming.
how do you chop cotton?
Chop cotton?
Yeah.
Oh,
You
gosh.
hadn't asked that.
With a hoe. That's the only thing you can do it with.
Now, what do you do when you chop cotton?
You just go along the row and chop out just certain lengths, about so far. Leave the stalk about that far apart,
What, about 6, 8 inches?
something like that. And that's what you do all day. Go up the one row and back the other.
How long were your rows?
Just as long as they could make them.
Quarter, some half a mile.
Clear across the field, however it was.
Well, not only did you just chop out every 6 or 8 inches.
You cleaned
single stalk
every
of cotton, you
every
chopped out
bit of
every spear of grass or weed that was in
crab,
that row with it.
grass, or anything else. You took it all out. You cleaned it.
What type of cotton were you raising?
Oh, that is plain old cotton.
Just plain old cotton. Now tell me about picking cotton.
Well, that's not quite so bad as chopping it.
Why is it not as bad?
Oh, that was a job. Whacking that stuff out all day. Picking it, I didn't mind that. I kind of liked it, and the more cotton was in there, the better I liked it.
How do you pick cotton? What do you do?
You just go along just like that. Take out the whole thing at the time if you can, when it's open enough. And that's how you pick cotton.
And how big's your cotton sack?
Well, Forrest uses a great big, real old cotton sack. And I put my apron on. I used the apron tied around here and stuck the corner of each corner of the apron on in the apron band, and that's where I put my cotton. And when I got that full, I emptied it in his sack. Oh, that was a mess.
And that sack he had, is that the one that had the
Yeah, he had to pull it.
strip over your
yeah.
shoulder?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay. Where was the nearest gin?
At the marina when we first went up there.
Who ran that gin?
It seems to me like that the lady was named English.
Was what?
English.
English. Okay.
Now I'm not so sure of that, but it seems like that was her name. Mrs. English. And she and her daughter, and I can't remember the daughter's name, that was there, was taking care of this. That I forget what the daughter's name was.
Now, when you took, did you have a special bed in the wagon that you took the cotton to the gin? You just used the...
Just put the sideboards on.
How tall were the sideboards?
And this is high as you want to make them, I guess.
And how many pounds of cotton did you haul in the wagon?
Do you know, Harry? I don't.
About 1,500 pounds, which after gin would make a 500-pound bale of length.
Now, did you keep your cotton seed?
No, I don't think we did. No.
So you had to buy the seed every year?
Or have it. I don't know whether we kept it
Once in a while, you'd have a gin and keep your own seed.
and
because
keep your
it
own
feeds the
seed,
salt.
but most of the time we didn't.
Were there any chores that you did on the farm after you were married you didn't before you were married?
I've done just as many before I was married as I did afterwards. But no, I didn't. I did farm. Didn't ride horses or anything after I was married. But I sure did before. I took care of them, I unharnessed them, and I put the harness on them. I was 12 years old. 12, 14.
Did you raise wheat at Marina?
Once in a while, they would have big boats.
Well, someone did, yes. They had mostly oats.
I never seen it back in the early times of any wheat.
I never either. But we did raise oats.
Okay. Oh, the flu epidemic, 1918, 1919.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. No one had the flu up there.
Till 18. When did we have that first flu? 18 was it?
1918.
It was bad.
Yeah, that's the year Ralph was born.
Did you have the flu?
We all had it.
What medicines did you use for that
We
flu?
didn't have any. We just took it.
Strong enough to get through it, so all right. If you wasn't, you didn't make it.
How many people died around that area?
I don't know. I wouldn't even try to say.
Now, Marina, was it a country town like Mounds?
No, it wasn't a town because Mounds was a little town and Marina wasn't. It was just a
Just a
Well, I know.
community?
Bunch of country stores.
just some country stores, yes.
Who ran the stores there?
Well, Mr. Sullivan and Mr. Gambrel, Mr. Waller. I think that's about no.
And lived away at the barber shop.
Oh yes, there was a barber shop, and
Church, the gym.
yeah, the gym and the church, and a place for the church man to live. Little house.
One more store, and we've been racking our brain 2 weeks trying to find out what it was, and I cannot remember who it was, but I remember the other very well.
I can remember somehow of it, but I can't remember well enough. Who the one of them? Now, one of them was Mr. Sullivan, the other one Mr. Gambrel, and Mr. Waller.
And the other one I couldn't think of.
Which store did you trade with?
Sullivan,
Sullivan?
when we was up there. Because Mr. Gambrel didn't have just a whole, the whole thing.
Did Moss run the gin there?
I don't think,
I don't know whether he ever went up there. He
I
went,
don't think Moss was up there.
He did too,
I'm the
yeah.
one that went to in Coyle.
he
I know
did,
they came up here and put one in.
And that
Yes,
one had
oh,
one up
yes.
here.
they had one here too.
Was Saturday a big time in town?
I don't know, I didn't pay any attention to it. That's when we went to get the groceries and that was about it.
Did you visit with the other people in town on Saturdays?
Oh, in Marina, but of course if we needed anything, we'd go through the week. But we had to go to Baker Mountains if we wanted all of the groceries.
Okay, now at Mounds, did many farmers go to town on Saturday? At
Oh
Mounds?
yes, lots of people did.
Was there a wagon yard at Mounds?
Hmm?
Was there a wagon yard at Mounds?
Wagon yard where
Oh yes, I suppose they were. There was at Diggs too.
What is a wagon yard? What is it?
Well, they took the wagons in there and they fed the horses and yeah, they fed the horses and watered them and left them there until it was ready to go home.
Now, it was kind of funny that they had a wagon yard yet in Perry when we moved up here in 25.
Yes, they did.
Because Dad and I stayed. That was the night that on the road, our first night out coming up here.
Now, when you spent the night in a wagon yard, where did you? When you spent the night in the wagon yard, where did you stay?
I didn't ever stay there.
You did.
It just the men, boys,
Okay.
and his dad.
Okay. And how long did? Oh, what kind of house did you have at Marina?
We didn't live in Marina.
Okay, on the farm there. What kind of house did you have?
So four-room one. I think it was a four-room. It was a trash. That old guy sure beat us. But that's the kind. But we got it made till it was pretty decent. Now they have a real nice one there.
Who has that place now?
I don't know. There've been 2 or 3 different ones.
You still go back there?
No, I haven't been there for a long time. In fact, never in the house since we left it. Let me see. Now, Leonard Lowe, do you know him? He lives right north of our used to be place. He lives down there. He can tell you all of them.
Okay.
I don't know the people's names. There's been 2 or 3 different ones had the place since we left there.
And when did you leave Marina?
Oh, I know, but I can't think.
In 25?
I don't know. Maybe Harry or
Yeah.
Ralph can take me.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, he said 25.
Was it 25?
Yeah.
Well,
Why did you leave Marina to come over to Tonkawa?
Well, let me see. I don't know.
You really wanna know?
Yeah.
There's so damn many bootlegging distills around us that they got to the point you couldn't leave home.
That's the truth, too.
Bootleggers.
Bootleggers.
Why are
Yeah.
there so many bootleggers around Marina?
Oh, they were
Well,
just,
all that timber in them hills down there, every spring,
yes,
there was somebody making whiskey.
the hills was full of them.
In fact, when we moved up here, that there was 21 around there.
They had to do something to keep them starving to death.
To do what?
Had to do something to keep them starving to death. Besides that, we were tired of raising cotton and we moved to a wheat farm.
Yes, we moved up here. We had friends and, I don't know whether we had any neighbors. Did we have, I mean relatives. Did we have any relatives up here then?
Yeah, Uncle Jack, he farmed the
Yeah.
place, he'd give it up and let us have it.
My husband's brother. So that's where we've been ever since.
So how do you travel from Marina up here? On the train again?
No, just had to drive the teams or cars, of course, cars.
So you had a car then, at that time.
Mm-hmm.
What were the roads like in those years? In the 20s?
It's just terrible, just rocks
Yeah.
and ruts, everything. That's what my husband did for a long time after while we still lived down there. He worked on the road and helped to keep the roads halfway decent.
So when you moved to Tonkawa, did you move in this house? In 25?
No. We lived on a farm. 2 or 3 different farms. We lived on 3 different farms
And you,
before we moved out there.
you raised wheat then?
Yeah.
Tell me about wheat harvest.
Well, that's another job. They had to wait till it was ready to thresh or to cut. They had to cut first. And then when they had the thresh, you had to cook for all of the threshers.
How many men on threshers?
Some about 16.
What would you cook for 'em?
But, gosh, I don't remember. I had to dress chickens to fry, and I had to peel potatoes. Everything you could think of when you have that many people to cook for. That's the job.
How many different pieces of equipment are used in wheat harvest? You have the header barge, and all
Oh,
that.
no, I don't know anything about it. Oh, I didn't farm. I just cooked. No, I don't know what all, just the threshers. And first they had them big old, like the horse pulling a thing to bale it. They did
Yeah,
that.
the headers.
I don't know what you call them.
What?
They when they was
Binder?
with the area.
What are you doing, harvesting wheat?
Yeah,
or
wheat
what?
harvest. Yeah.
Yes,
Had the binder.
yeah, they had the binders. Then they had to take them and throw it into the
Thresher.
thresher. Yeah.
How long from the time you cut the wheat till it was threshed?
I don't know.
Okay, 2 or 3 weeks.
And who owned the thresher in the area?
Uh, I can't think of anything with Sealer, because
No.
Sealer is not.
Eddie Prather.
Eddie Prather, yes.
Eddie Prather and
He had.
Charlie Ward owned the 2 big threshing machines up
Mhm.
The Great Depression of the 1930s.
there. Never got that.
Oh boy, I'll never forget them dust storms.
I was going to ask, what does a dust storm look like when it's approaching?
Oh, it was terrible. You couldn't see anything for dust. It was just yellow all over everything. It was just, you couldn't see anything.
How'd you keep the dust out of your house?
You didn't.
Did you try?
You tried.
What'd you do?
You just didn't get it done.
What would you do to try to keep it out of the house?
Well, you keep it shut up as much as you could, but it would get in if you opened the door.
Did you hang sheets in front of the windows and
Well, sometimes we did.
how did you breathe in the dust storm?
You didn't hardly part of the time. It was just terrible.
I heard some people put wet towels over their face.
Yeah. And I used to, even after the kids went to school, after we lived down there, after they went to school, I walked to the schoolhouse, one time clear up to the schoolhouse, and other times just to go to meet them, to bring them home through that dust. We could see.
How far from the farm was the school?
From the school, mile and a half.
How long would a dust storm last?
Several days. Oh, that was terrible. You'd get up of a morning and you could see on where your head had been on the pillow at night, and there was a just shape of your head there. It was covered clear around with dust.
Did you ever see one of them coming in?
Not in the 30s.
But just like a northern, like a cold bank coming right in on you.
Just like we saw here a few weeks ago, wasn't it? Only that was rain.
How about the drought of the 30s? How'd that affect your wheat crop?
It ruined it. All of them. Of course, we did get a little wheat. Gee whiz, part of the time we sold it for 25 cents a bushel. We didn't get anything out of it.
What caused those dust storms?
Just plain old dust, yes. Anyway, it's they have them out west, and they come in from out in the desert. Mm.
World War II. What'd you do?
Oh, excuse me.
No, that's okay. Don't worry. You can't hurt that.
I don't know. I don't like to talk about that. I had 2 boys in it. That one and the youngest one. We lived out,
On the Humphrey place.
yes, on the Humphrey place when they went into the army. See, this one out here, he was 46 months. in the Army. And Jack was 36 months. Jack's the youngest one there.
I'd like to get some more information about your childhood. Like games you played in school.
Dropped a handkerchief. Red river around the roses. I don't know. Just plain old common games that kids did then. As we grew up, we had little different games, but we always had a good time. And that's just, I can't remember anything like that because it's just been too far back.
What was the largest holiday of the year?
The what?
The biggest holiday of the year?
Most
Was it
important
Christmas,
holiday.
4th of July, Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Most important
What?
holiday.
Holiday. Oh, yes. Well, I don't know. Any of them was more important than the other one. Christmas and Thanksgiving. 4th of July. Yeah, that
How'd
was.
you celebrate 4th of July?
Well, when they had had things, different towns, why we went there to celebrate. We'd gone to Perry and we went to everyone's Stillwater North. Just wherever they had them.
Was the Mulhall Ranch still going when you moved up here?
Did what?
The Mulhalls, they still have their
Oh,
ranch
oh,
down
yes.
here?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Did you know Zach? Zach Mulhall?
No, but I've heard of him and seen him.
I went to school with your grandson.
Yes, we lived just a little ways from them.
What about Lucille? Did you know her?
Oh, yeah, I've seen her. She was always busy riding horses or something like that.
I drove that road very next morning after she was killed up there right north of Mulhall.
How was she killed?
Car wreck. Went off into a raven out there about a mile and a half north of town.
Well, he asked about how do we celebrate the 4th of July. You forgot something here very important. Dad did construction work. We lived down by Marina, and he always had dynamite.
Yeah.
And every 4th of July morning about daylight, they had a great big rock down north of the house. He'd go down and put a stick of dynamite on that rock and set it off. And that's the way we started the 4th of July.
Oh, boy.
Isn't that right?
Break up the country. Or the,
That's right.
the country.
What year did he do that? What years?
Well, just everyone that he had a chance, I guess. I don't
Let's see,
know.
I was trying to think what year that
When we
was.
lived out on the farm there by.
That was on the old home. You were any idea, Ralph, about what years that was?
Yes, every year I can remember up till,
We moved up here.
until 25. I remember the last year we was there. I remember it as well as if it was yesterday.
I do too. The last year we was there, I remember it. We had took a crosscut saw, saw the oak tree down, and it was as big as a horse tank. And that old stump was as level as could be, and it was harder than any rock ever dared to be. And he laid that dynamite on top of that stump, and set it off. And I'm telling you, it shook the whole thing.
Was he working for the county
Yeah,
at that time?
Well, yeah, part of the time, I think.
What did he
Was he?
yeah.
What did he do on the roads? What?
He drove a team and plow and a scraper.
rode over Sears.
What was his salary in those years?
I don't know whether he even had it. I don't. I don't know whether he ever got anything for that or not.
After they worked the poll tax out, he got $1 a day when he rode over Sears.
Oh,
They built that whole road through to Stillwater, 51, which is 51 highway now. And they used convicts. Between town to jail and bring out 4 or 5 of them and work them on that road.
no, I don't know if he ever got any paid for it, but like Harry says, that he didn't get very much, I can bet on that.
What about the WPA and CCC? Did he do any work for them?
I don't know whether he did or not.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
He hauled blue shale, after we came up here on the WPA, he hauled blue shale out here on the road. He got to haul 1 day a month. By the team wagon and the
Where did he get the shale?
shale pit out here about just off the west side of 35, about 2 or 3 miles south after you get on 35 out.
And he would haul it to where?
To whatever county road around in there that they was
Had to have.
covered with shale.
And he hauled 1 day a month.
1 day a month, got $5 for it, for team wagon and himself.
Do you have any questions or you can think of?
No, no. If you got questions, I'll see if I can help you answer them.
Well, we've covered, let me see. Oh, what were your grandparents' names?
Trimmer, how they say that, Conrad Trimmer was my grandpa, and Isabel was my grandma.
Do you know what her maiden name was?
What?
Do you know what her maiden name was?
Glenn,
Glenn. G-L-E-N?
N,
2 N's.
2 N's.
Okay. And then on Hedges, what was?
Hedges.
What were your grandparents' name? Grandpa Hedges.
Hedges? I can't tell you. I never saw one of
And what was your father's first name?
them. Newton.
Newton.
Is that his first name?
Oliver
Oliver
Newton Hedges. Yeah, O-N Hedges.
Okay, we talked about your schools.
Just about everything.
What about the churches? What church did you attend?
Christian.
Christian. Could you describe the town of Galena in Hiawatha?
I never saw that. We moved away from there when I was just a baby. But Galena, well, it was just a small miner's town. That's what it was. Wasn't there anything special, but it was a nice little town. It's just 8 miles from Joplin.
Well, I think we have a good interview.
I don't know if I know anything else to tell you or not.
About an hour and 20 minutes.
That ought to be enough for once, shouldn't it?
What's your fondest memory of your parents?
Oh, I don't know that I can tell you. It's just all the time I was with them. Papa was real strict, but he wasn't mean.
Well, Mrs. Barnes, I think we have a good interview.
I think so. I enjoyed it.
I want to thank you for
I did. Talking
getting
about
information.
old town. Old times.
Anything you want to talk about?
No, I think I talked about everything you could. Oh, boy.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thing, don't know the things I can remember best about the storage and stuff at Marina. That's where I got my first cap.
First cap.
Yeah. And built a cap.
Yeah.
Little black and white check cap. And I was about 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember just as well going up there and picking that one up. First one I ever owned.
So there's nothing left of Marina now, is there?
No.
I don't think there's a thing left there.
Growing up, you wouldn't know the second corner if there'd ever been a store or anything around there.
No,
Like
you
I
wouldn't
say,
know there'd ever been a building or anything. Only, no,
I couldn't understand how come they built the schoolhouse a mile away from the town.
well, me either. It was
Yeah,
a mile south of the marina.
Why was it called Marina?
I don't know. I don't know where we got the name. An Indian name, I guess.
What about the mounds? Where'd that name come from?
Mounds? And I couldn't tell you that either. Oh yes, I do remember something. Somebody said something about this. 2 mounds. Indians. Mounds that were built by Indians or something out from mounds. And that's where it got its name. As far as I know. And eggs, I don't know where they got it. Maybe because they had to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but that was a nice little town too.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh. What's your address here?
208 North 3rd.
Yeah, 208.
208 North 3rd. And what's your phone number?
628
Gosh, I
2307.
couldn't tell you.
3027
628 2307.
2307.
I can't